everyone, it is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. And today's video is super exciting because it is a part of my series about advice from a graduated college student. So today we are going to be talking to a few of my friends who have graduated college and are either going to grad school in the fall or they've already started grad school. So they are going to be talking about grad school advice, tips and tricks, and whether you should take a gap year between undergrad and grad school. So definitely leave a comment if you have any questions or if you have any other video ideas that you want to see me do as a part of this series. And also make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos. I post every single Sunday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so definitely check back then. But without further ado, let's get started.
Hello, I'm Renee. I'm a friend of Rachel's. We both studied cognitive science at UC Berkeley, and I'm going to Johns Hopkins University to study cognitive science this fall.
My name is Abhi, and I was a computer science and biology double major during my undergrad at Cal. Right now I'm part of the computational biology PhD program over at CMU, or Carnegie Mellon University.
Hi, my name is Elise, and when I was an undergrad at UC Berkeley, I majored in peace and conflict studies and got my minor in public policy. In the fall, I'll be headed to the University of Michigan Law School, and I'm going after taking 2 years off between college and law school.
Hi everybody, my name is Ryan. I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2019 with a BS in mechanical engineering, and then I came immediately straight through to graduate school here at Caltech. Here I'm also in mechanical engineering, studying specifically control and dynamical systems with a research focus on safety and autonomy. I'm getting my master's and PhD here, so I'm here for the research-based program, here for the long-term, like 5+ years doctoral program.
Hello, it is Rachel, and actually I'm going to be reading the answers of a friend who's going into grad school in the fall because she did not want to be on camera, so she sent me some text answers and I'm going to read them out. Her name is Anna. She majored in applied mathematics in college, and in the fall she is going to get her computer science PhD in artificial intelligence at Harvard. Wow. And so she worked 2 years in industry before going to grad school. Why did you choose/want to go to graduate school? When did you start contemplating with the idea of higher education?
Basically, it took me a very long time to decide my undergrad major, and then after I did, I discovered cognitive science and I really loved it, so I just, focused on that and forgot about pre-professional prep, which in hindsight wasn't the smartest thing to do. But toward the end of my education at Berkeley, I really fell in love with neuroscience. The classes were cool, the research I did was really interesting, but I didn't want to dedicate 5 years of my life to that. At least I'm not mentally prepared for that yet, so I decided to apply to master's programs, because that'll be like 1 to 2 years, so I think that's a sweet spot for me personally.
I decided to go to grad school because it was necessary for what I wanted to do with my career. I want to be a lawyer, and to do that, I have to go to law school. This is something I'd been thinking about since I was an undergrad, and I think for me, contemplating this early on really gave me time to think about it and decide if it was the best fit for me and for my career in general.
So I decided on going to grad school around the beginning of my senior year of undergrad. I was pretty set on a career in programming at that time, but I decided to take a change after taking some coursework that I really enjoyed.
I really started considering getting a graduate degree and going straight from undergrad. In my junior year of undergrad, I started getting more involved with my research lab at Berkeley, and then I also started taking more classes. So I had finished most of my base courses and was starting to take electives, and I started focusing most of my electives on controls and robotics and dynamical systems. And I took a couple of graduate courses in that subfield, so that was really cool. So at Berkeley, I was working in a research lab, and I was pushing further into a specific subfield that I was interested in. And then I got an internship in Dearborn, Michigan with Ford, and I kind of took that interest there. So I worked a little bit with their autonomous vehicle team, and I got to see what that field looked like in the real world, and it was super cool. And I think the things that kind of came together was I knew I had a field that I was really interested in, and then on top of that, working at Ford, I realized that there were a lot of things within the field that could still be improved. And there was a lot of room to grow for autonomous systems and how we can do things in that field. So those two things I think are super important. You have to be passionate about something and you have to see room to grow. And so that's what your research is going to be in. If you want to do a PhD or a research-based graduate program, is like, how can I push the boundaries of this field? And then the other thing that helped convince me to do it was I felt like there was a big impact that could be made once those boundaries are pushed. In my research can help make guarantees for safety, then we can make cars safer. Through my research, contribute to the world in a very tangible way, which to me is very important and was something that helped inspire me to go on to graduate school.
My high school calculus teacher told me at 16 that I should do a PhD, so it's been a dream of mine for a long time. I just wanted to solidify if it was really the path for me and also in what discipline, i.e. math or computer science. I currently work as a software engineer and am still extremely grateful for the job and the privilege that came with it. I love coding and building features that millions of customers are able to use, but something was just pressing on my heart. I looked at my life and asked myself, is this my life for the rest of my life? To be an engineer and build products over and over again? I knew I craved the academic freedom that I attained in undergrad. I did my best during work, but I would go home every night and self-study my algorithms or linear algebra books. I even bought a whole mathematics GRE subject test book just to have a diverse array of problems to do. The rigor and theory really brought me a lot of joy, and I knew I wanted to pursue something greater than myself and contribute to the progress of technology. If you chose to go straight from undergrad to grad school, why did you make that choice? Similarly, if you chose to take a break before going back to school, why did you do so?
I think that taking a break between college and law school was the right decision for me because it allowed me some time to get my head straight. Academia, and especially on higher education, can be a really intense experience. So for me, taking a few years away gave me some time to get my head straight and make sure that I wouldn't burn out during grad school. It also gave me time to really reduce my student debt so that going into grad school, I don't have to be stressed about debt from undergrad.
So first, I ended up interning at Amazon as a software development engineer leading into my senior year of college and accepting the full-time return offer. I thought that was a great opportunity to work in industry, develop a sound engineering foundation, and also spend more time with my family. During undergrad, I had no work experience outside of my internship nor formal research experience. PhD programs are extremely competitive because they are fully funded and it's the university essentially investing in you for 5+ years. I looked at myself as a student and I honestly didn't have the courage to apply my senior year. I remember watching a video of a UCSD professor giving advice to PhD applicants, and they candidly said that if your application is not research dense and your references are not coming from distinguished professors, they wouldn't even consider your application. That, of course, is only one data point and opinion, but after hearing that, I was very discouraged. In addition, multiple of my friends, who are all brilliant, got rejected from every PhD program they applied to. I didn't think I was competitive enough of a candidate because of my lack of formal research experience. So I went into industry to learn more about my field and also to work on projects that would train transferable skills that would show my potential at being a successful researcher. Fortunately for me, I was able to work on large-scale projects and run a lot of experiments that really enhanced my skills and showed I am capable without having undergrad research experience.
I ended up going straight from undergrad to grad school just because I knew it was something that I kind of wanted to do. A lot of people take breaks in between when they do that, and honestly, either way is fine as long as you feel like you're ready for going in.
I had advisors telling me that they recommended that I go straight. This is from my parents, but also from my professors at Berkeley. They were like, well, especially for engineers, if you go and leave academia, you often will get a job that's very well paying. You'll have cushier lifestyle. You might forget how to take tests and things like that. So they recommended going straight because you still have those skills as a student kind of perfected and you're ready to dive back into it. But there are definitely pros and cons. I know a lot of people that didn't do that and took some time off. I'd say that my cohort here at Caltech is very diverse in that respect. It's probably 60-40. A lot of people have taken time off, with the majority of people having taken time off to do something else or get a different graduate degree, like getting their master's before starting their PhD here, or doing a fellowship or working in industry, anything like that. So there's a wide variety of it, and there are definitely pros and cons to all of them. But I personally did go straight, and that was part of the reasoning. In retrospect, I think it might have been super nice to do like a Fulbright fellowship for a year or something like that, and take the time off and go explore.
What was your grad school application process like? How did you find a program that's right for you?
First of all, you gotta choose your school list, narrow it down. I narrowed it down to 7 schools in the end. And then you look at the requirements and you realize GRE, so that needs some time to prep, do it early. So I did it half a year early, like last summer I finished taking GRE. And then when the fall semester kicked in, you wanna start asking for recommendation letters from professors from your past research or current research experience. Maybe don't ask an English professor, even if you really liked their class, for a recommendation letter if you're applying to a physics program. Like, it might not help that much. And then if you don't get rejected immediately, which you might, and I did for some of them, which is why you want to apply to more than one. The other ones, they'll invite you for an interview, or in Hopkins' case, it invited me to submit like a research sample kind of thing, and then you get to talk to the professors and get a feel for that. So that part's really important, especially if you're going to a PhD program. You don't want to be stuck with a professor you don't like for 5 years, even if their work is really interesting, or like not even for 1 year. Like, even if their work is really interesting, you want to make sure the person isn't terrible, you get along, and you like what they're doing, you like the research topic.
The application process involves quite a lot of research on the different kinds of programs and what kind of faculty is there. So in grad school, the available faculty is super important, as that's going to decide what kind of research you're going to work on. I would recommend looking at fields that you enjoy and finding professors who are seminal in that kind of work, or someone that you might want to work with, and then apply to the schools that those professors are at.
Important things about that: if you are interested in doing a research-based program, you are essentially applying to those labs more than a school. So there's some schools that might be super prestigious that might not fit you as well. And there might be a school that is not as well ranked, but has exactly what you're looking for in terms of a research program. So it's important to like look beyond the school name and look at what professors are doing and what research is going on at a particular place.
I would recommend starting early and having a plan for everything. For example, I decided to take the LSAT first, so I put a lot of time and effort into studying for that, and then worked on my essays so that I didn't have to try to do both at the same time. I ended up deciding on a program in part because of email advertisements I got. After you take whatever standardized test you end up needing to take for grad school, you'll probably have a lot of those schools start to reach out to you, either just giving you information about their school, or if you're lucky, even offering you fee waivers for your application. For me, those emails ended up being really helpful for my decision process. I hadn't even been considering applying to Michigan Law until they sent me a fee waiver. But as I started to learn more about their program and learn about especially the culture of their school, I realized it was the perfect fit for me. So definitely when you're deciding on a program, I would recommend going into this process with as open a mind as possible so that you can really take the time to learn about different schools and what they have to offer.
As a college student, what can others do to prepare for grad school? Besides the obvious have good grades, competitive GPA, start studying for the GRE, I would suggest, if you can, try finding a research position in a topic or field you are interested in. Go to your school's prospective grad school panels, ask for a one-time or long-term mentorship opportunity with a grad student, or even just going to a professor's office hours to ask them what they are looking for in a grad student.
But definitely get involved in a research lab at your undergraduate institution, see what you can do. I didn't do this myself, but I highly recommend, if you know you want to do grad school, look into doing a summer research fellowship where you can go to another university and do research there. Caltech has this thing called SURF, Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship. There's a bunch of other ones at a bunch of different other schools, and they sponsor students to come do research as undergrads. And that's a great way to see what it's like to be a grad student. So I'd highly recommend that if you're interested.
Explore your passions so that you're positive about the kind of program you want to go into. Also, as you're joining different clubs or doing different things to figure out what you're passionate about, those could coincidentally help you build up your resume, which will just make you even more competitive. As long as you make sure your grades are fine, you have some connections with professors, and you've done some things you care about, your grad school application will put itself together.
Any final advice for college students considering graduate school?
I get to be paid to do research and just like study what I want to study, contribute new knowledge to the world, which is a really inspiring endeavor. Like, I'm out here discovering things that nobody's ever looked at before. This week, I'm pretty sure I proved something that's never been proved before, and we're putting it in a paper coming out in July. So it's a really exciting space. And I think people in graduate school are very passionate. It definitely takes passion to do what we do. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed my program so far. It's definitely a lot of work, but it's work that I want to do.
I spent a lot of time contemplating between getting a master's degree or a JD, and for me, taking the time to really think about that and look at the merits of both programs helped me to figure out what I really wanted to do, not just in grad school, but for my career at large. If you're considering grad school and don't decide to go, that's okay too. Not everyone needs to go to grad school, not every career requires it, but I think just taking the time to really think about it and consider it can really help you figure out what you want.
Go to grad school because you absolutely want to and not for anybody else. Because it does suck out 5 years of your prime and youth, so you got to make sure that it's worth it.
To all of those people applying soon, good luck and all the best.